Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the 1989 Batman figure from NECA Toys. Okay, I know I'm a little late to the party on this one. He's been out for a while now, he's old news, but it doesn't stop him from being amazing. I've had this guy for a while, I've been meaning to get around to reviewing him, and I just had to do it, because I had to make sure you guys all knew how much I love this figure. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. So way back when I did the 8-bit version of Batman from NECA Toys in a review, I talked about in that video how much I loved the sculpt of this figure and how I was really hoping that there would be a way that NECA could release him in his actual movie colors. At the time, we all thought that it wasn't possible, and I remember so many people telling me in the comments that there's no way it would ever happen. But NECA blew us all away, and they did it, and they released this guy right here. Wow. And first of all, look at the packaging that he's in. I love this because I am a geek for all of that older stuff, especially from Kenner and Toy Biz, and this here looks just like that old Toy Biz Batman packaging. It's got that great gold design with the stars, the movie Batman logo. In fact, let's go ahead and do this. It's comparison time. Here's a look at that NECA Batman alongside my original Toy Biz Batman still sealed in his package, so you can see how NECA lovingly recreated that package for this new Batman figure. And even flipping them around to the back side, you can see how they took ideas from the back of the vintage packaging and brought it to life in this new Batman packaging. This, in my opinion, was the best way to release this '89 Batman, and I love it. But while the packaging is beautiful, I gotta rip this guy open. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. Now, I did essentially already review this figure when I reviewed that 8-bit version of him, because the figure is exactly the same. But this time around, all of his details are painted the black and yellow and gold that you would expect Batman to be wearing as he appeared in the '89 film. And if you haven't already seen this figure or you didn't watch my review at that, let me just go ahead and show you some of the great stuff about this figure. First of all, let's look at that head sculpt. The cowl on there is recreated perfectly, looking like this guy jumped right out of the film. But as good as the cowl looks, look at the face sculpt underneath. Sure, we can only see part of his eyes and just the mouth portion of his face, but how good is the likeness to Michael Keaton? The sculpt on here is fantastic, and in my 8-bit review, that's one of the things I talked about, was how I really wish we could see this painted the way it should look in the movie so we can see how good that Keaton sculpt is. And there it is, my friends. That is awesome looking. You'll also notice that the cowl kind of comes down over his shoulders, and attached to it is the little bat insignia that does have the little extra points at the bottom, which is exactly how it appeared in the film. The costume that he's wearing down below that is done wonderfully. The articulation is all kind of underneath this rubber suit that he's wearing, which is kind of just like the actor there, which is really nice. So it's got all those muscles sculpted on there. It's got that goldish utility belt, and all those great details going all the way down to the boots, and everything on this guy looks fantastic. And then draped over his back and his shoulders there is a nice black cloth cape. And the cloth looks really nice on here. It's a good solid black, it flows nicely, it lays across his shoulders nicely, and that way you can still get some good poses out of this guy, and the cape doesn't hinder any of that articulation. Alright, so speaking of the articulation, let's go ahead and take a look at it with Batman here. So the cowl that he's wearing is made of a softer plastic, which you'll notice, because the ears on the top are a little flexible, but they're not bent. They do a good job of standing up straight like they're supposed to, and this does allow the head to move left and right and slightly up and down. You will notice that the bottom portion of the cowl is all attached to the headpiece along with the bat insignia on his chest, so when you turn his head, it is going to turn that insignia. That does look a little weird and a little off-putting sometimes when you get him in some of those poses, but it's worth noting that this is exactly how it was in the movie. And if you remember in the movie, most of the times when Batman looked left and right, he had to turn his whole body, or even when he looked up, he turned his whole body. So he didn't actually move his head side to side. So kudos to NECA, because this is actually exactly how his costume was in the movie. It's just a little weird sometimes when you articulate his head like that. Other than that, he does have the nice ball-like joints at the shoulder, so you can see the arms go outwards, forwards, and backwards. He's got really nice swivels at the elbow, as well as a standard elbow bend. And then he also does have nice ball-jointed wrists, so the hands can roll all the way around. He does have some articulation that's kind of underneath this rubber suit that he's wearing there, so you can see it turns his waist left and right, and you can also crunch him up and down at the abs there. The legs are on nice ball joints there underneath the rubber bodysuit that he's wearing, so you can move the legs outwards, forwards, and backwards. You can swivel the thighs there. You've got really nice knee joints there that are also ball jointed, so you can swivel those around. You can bend them forwards and backwards. And then his ankles there are even on a nice ball joint, so you can roll the foot around. You can rock it side to side for some nice ankle pivot, and you can even move up and down with the feet. And then, of course, that cape, like I said, nice cloth materials, so it doesn't get in the way of any of the articulation. You can drape it over his shoulders for that pose if you want, or you can have it down behind his back. So articulation functions very well on this guy. So just like we saw with that 8-bit version of this exact same figure, Batman does include a few accessories that you can arm him up with. Included, he does have his nice little grapple gun, which was key in that movie there. He used this quite a bit, and it's really nicely done. It's got some nice painted details on there with the little grapple hook at the tip there, even being done in a nice gold color. And, of course, we have a Batarang, because you can't have a Batman without a Batarang. Nice sculpt on this as well, and even the tips have a kind of a nice little silver paint on there, which is really cool. Now, in order to utilize these accessories, Batman does include some interchangeable hands. So you can see he's got the one kind of open hand with the trigger finger, which is for the grapple gun, and then he has a closed hand that is meant for holding on to that Batarang. And it's very easy to swap out these parts. All of those wrists are ball jointed like we talked about in the articulation, so with a nice little tug there, you can actually pull the hands right off. We can take the new hand, pop it on in its place. You can see it does take a little bit of work to pop it on there because it's a nice solid click, which is really nice. So the hand gets on there nice and tight, and once it's on, you can then use this to hold on to his accessory. So that way you can arm him up with the Batarang or that grapple gun. Alright guys, it's comparison time. Here's a look at this brand new version of Batman standing alongside that 8-bit Batman based on his old Nintendo game that came out first. It's the exact same figure, but here you can see the drastic difference in the paint jobs. And man, I love both of these figures. I really do. These are two of my favorite figures in my collection now. And of course, we've got to stand him alongside that original Toy Biz movie Batman. This is mine from when I was a kid, so he's missing his cape, but this guy received a lot of love from me as a kid. So it's pretty awesome getting this new version from NECA Toys that actually looks exactly as he did in the movie there, and standing him alongside that original version we had when we were kids. It's pretty cool. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at NECA's 1989 Batman. I am still blown away that we were even given this figure. I didn't think it would ever come, but I am so thankful that we did, because this is this is the best movie Batman figure from the 89 film that we have ever received. I love it. I love it so much. And man, can I just say, we have had some of my absolute favorite Batman figures released from various companies in this past year. Wow, we got some great Batman figures to add to our toy shelves. So this Batman from NECA Toys was released alongside the new Blu-ray version of the 89 movie. It was sold exclusively with that at places like Toys R Us, and if you're lucky, some Toys R Us stores still have this figure sitting on their shelves. So happy hunting, my friends, because if you're a Batman fan, you owe it to yourself to pick this one up and add it to your collection. Hey guys, if you haven't already, make sure you head over and watch my interview with Randy Falk from NECA Toys from this year's Toy Fair, because while he shows off tons of great product coming from NECA Toys, he also goes into extreme detail on how he was able to get this Batman figure produced, and it's a really fun story to listen to. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and also be sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a review. Until next time, my friends.